Everybody stand up! Put your hands up! Uh! This is the place to be! This is the thing to see! The original! Dirty Jersey! Let's go!
Beardo from Loot Nation.
What's up, guys? Isn't it fun to grab a little throwback? I can't believe that was the video that I released with so much excitement back in the day when I did my first Dirty Jersey base build. Now, this is the new current design. It is the Town Hall 11 design, and I'm going to switch it up today. This is going to be something different, something I've never done before on my channel. And it is going to be a full base build. I don't tend to do base builds very often. I don't necessarily think I'm that good at base building. And I got a little stubborn back in the day. I moved out to Oregon. I broke my leg snowboarding. A lot of people probably know the story. Some people might not. And the reason why this channel even exists in the first place is because of a bone-shattering experience that I had. So the other night when Lady and I were streaming, we were asked a question about some stories that we had in our life, because we have some really interesting and fun stories. I think one day we'll even maybe write a book. But while I'm building my base design, I'm gonna go out and give you guys the story on how this channel even got developed in the first place. But I also, inside this video, want to show you an awesome tactic for not getting your base taken from you when you were editing your active base. You cannot save it early or finish later, and there is a wall glitch that keeps happening to me that stops my base from being able to be saved, and then I literally have to start over, and I have found the trick out to stop that. So wow, am I excited, because moving all these bombs and things inside the base tends to be a little crazy. So when I'm redesigning my base, obviously I'm staying to this New Jersey structure, and I was making it like kind of a ring style base, but I'm always getting attacked from the angles on the left and the right side. So I'm gonna go out there and try and create a little bit more complex base, open it up on the inside even more, and I end up coming up with a little plan and an idea that worked out pretty well for me, actually. I haven't brought it to war yet, but it definitely has helped me out with losing trophies and getting 2-star non-stop in war. But let's get back to the topic at hand, how the channel was created and how this all went about. So me and Lady and I rather, decided to pack our bags and go for the American dream of living in our car and driving across all of America and experiencing as much of life in the visuals and the mountains and the lakes and the states and the people and the activity, and really seeing what God opens up doors for us in the future. So, being from New Jersey, not having mountains and beauty, now we are by the coast and we do a lot of surfing, so that's fun, but we wanted to go experience the grandeur, the vast nature of America. So, we got rid of a bunch of different things. I ended up splitting up a company that I had been involved with for years and taking my fortune across America. One might even call it an Oregon Trail. Now, we weren't positive that we were going to actually make it to Oregon, and that's a story for another time. But after we got into Oregon, I got hired as a snowboard instructor on one of their bigger mountains, and my very first day of work, I decided that, hey, there wasn't anyone to teach. It is a perfect opportunity for me to go and do some park runs. Now, I had a great day jumping over vans and hitting rails and hitting some pretty decent sized jumps. But on the very last run, I wanted to go a little extra hard. So me and my buddy shoot back up the lift, get off, go through the park, and I land one of my more extreme tricks and have an absolutely fun time on my park run. And I'm so happy, and we're sitting down by the lift, and lady sends me a text message and says, "Hey, I'm done working." She was working inside the resort at the time. So after experiencing such a great last run, I said to myself, you know what? I'm gonna need one more last run. Man, that was one of the best and worst decisions of my entire life. Definitely 100% the most painful decision I've ever made in my entire life. I get up off the lift, go to the top of one of the first jumps. The guys there are like, "Hey man, you guys are hitting these jumps real well." This is a true story too. The guy's like, "Hey, you hitting that jump real well." I turn around, I'm like, "Yeah, we have." Just absolutely like the coolest kid in the park. Run down, make my jump, overshoot the landing, land like Michael Jackson on my toes with the board, toe edge so hard that it literally twisted my left shin bone like a Snapple cap and broke it in 6 pieces. I did not move from that ground or from the laying position from January 9th probably until the first day of fall. I went the winter, the spring, and the summer constantly down on my back. I think the April 3rd was when the first time I actually sat up and ate a meal. It was crazy. They couldn't do surgery because of the way that the nature of the bone, it was a spiral tibia fracture. But after sitting there and having nothing to do for 3 days, my buddy calls me up and he's like, "Hey, check out this game. It's called Clash of Clans. You might be into it. It's got like a longevity to it. It's not something you just beat in the first night." So I started looking into it, and I had played a lot of Red Alert and some different games, Command and Conquer Red Alerts, and some other base building games as a kid with brew times and train times. So I wasn't like, totally like misunderstanding of the way the game worked, and I got into it, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. And after about the first maybe 3 or 4 weeks of being in a clan, and I think I talked about this in one of my past videos, I thought to myself, man, I probably could run my own clan better than the people who are running this one. Nothing against those people, but I like things very specific, and I know when I have a great idea for something, and I've run fantasy football leagues and things like that. That is the history of the channel. It literally started because of a leg-breaking injury, and my first videos, I want to say my first 15 or 20 videos, maybe even more, probably close to like 40 or 50 videos, I was in a cast, in my underwear, just destroyed, in so much pain every time I got in front of my computer. It was pretty wild and pretty intense, and it would take me a couple days. I learned all about Final Cut Pro, never used it before, learned all about microphones, learned so much different things. I think the 3 big YouTubers back then, and this was like, I don't even think Chief Pat was over 1 million people. He might have been at like 600,000 or 700,000 people. And there was a guy named Daddy out there, and then there was Godson, and those were the 4 or 3 people rather that I think was out there that I knew of that were pretty big. And that was it, man. That was YouTube in a nutshell from the Lord Beardo lifestyle, and it was kind of fun. Now guys, in this base build that I'm doing here, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a wall. Now I keep running into this problem where I get attacked from the left and the right side. So what I tried to do in my last designs was to open some of the side walls up so the Valkyries could filter to the north and the south and never actually go into the middle. And I kind of found out that that didn't really work well. They were still able to get inside. The bowlers were beginning to crush. I had Tesla coils that were around the inside town hall, and that would draw in a lot of troops, and all in all, just really can't lock down a design. So now that the loons are so effective out there in the ladder play, I've decided to take my base and more or less turn it into an anti-air base. Now, it's going to take a lot of trial and error because I don't know exactly what it takes to stop the air raids, especially the dragons. And we're going to get into a couple other topics today, and that's going to be new metas that you're seeing up in top ladder play in Legends, war strategies, how to give yourself a good war weight. So we got a couple different things that we want to listen to, or that you guys might want to listen to, in order to progress in the proper fashion in Clash of Clans. Everyone's heard of the concept rushed base. Some people don't know what it means. Rushed base is when you look at somebody's base and all of their defenses are really, really low and their town hall is really high. Now, that is the typical term of a rushed base. I take my rushed base grading one step farther. When I look at a base that has maxed out defenses at a Town Hall 9 spot, but then their heroes are 13s and they don't even have level 2 or level 3 golems, that in my opinion is also considered a rushed base. Now, people might not think that because their defenses are high, but what happens is, when you go to war, you are fighting against other people that have the same exact defense that you have, and your heroes and your army cannot help in war. You won't be an effective war teammate. You won't find yourself in war in good clans. You'll tend to bounce around a lot inside of Clash of Clans, and even if you're a good attacker at your particular spot that you're used to fighting, because maybe you weren't in a larger clan, once you get into a larger clan that has a more dynamic range of town halls, you will find yourself out of place. Now, don't quit the game. This isn't the end of the game if this happens. All you have to do is just buckle down, take yourself out of war, work on your heroes, and that is when we're going to get into the most important thing to focus on in Clash of Clans when you're moving just throughout the entire game. You should never let this concept leave your mind until Supercell does what it needs to do to change it, and that is called heroes, troops, walls, then defense. In that order. Tattoo it on your arm, make a sticker, etch it into your desk with a pen. It goes heroes, troops, walls. When you become a new town hall, you absolutely want to get done your camps, your lab, your spells, and your barracks before doing any defense whatsoever. Not a single defense. Now, I do tell people when their gold is stacking up faster than they want it to, and they don't just want to do walls, they can upgrade their new Town Hall defenses to the old Town Hall maximum. So if you're going from a Town Hall 8 to a Town Hall 9, you are going to move up your Town Hall 9 brand new collector, brand new archer tower and cannon and expos. You get all that down, but you don't touch it. And even the expos, some people will argue not putting the expos in or out. People constantly, they tell me, this is a bad idea, this is a bad idea, oh, this is a horrible idea, you shouldn't do this. If you do this, then your base is just, you're never going to be able to hold on to your loot. I think this morning when I checked, I was the 600th player in America, and since getting a bunch of different raids in today, I'm sitting at right under the top 200 people in America. Every single time somebody raids against me, they are definitely getting at least 50%, taking pretty much any of the loot that they decide to come and get, dark or elixir or gold. Some of my base is stacked up a little differently, so it's weighted, so if you want gold, you just have to come through the bottom left. You will absolutely always be able to get everything you want to take from a base once you know how to raid. And if you're sitting up in Legends, guess what? You know how to raid. So you cannot hold your loot from other people. Stop trying. Don't even think about it. Let it completely leave your brain. Enjoy the game for war. Enjoy the game for raiding. Do not enjoy the game to have a defensively strong base. It doesn't work. Even people who think their bases are defensively strong and kind of mess up on some Town Hall 9s, they get other Town Hall 9s to mess up on them and they have a really good design. Well, guess what? A Town Hall 10 is going to come through and roll you if he knows what he's doing. So your war weight is so effective to remain low. And on the flip side, one of the most important things actually about having a low base is that you constantly get 6 stars in war. Who doesn't want to be a war hero? Everybody's constantly trying to figure out how to be the best war strategist and beat the top ranked person in their war. But the 3-star is a 3-star is a 3-star. So if you get all 3 stars in mid-town hall 9s, guess what? Your clan is gonna fall in love with the way you attack. So focus on your bases defensively for fun. If you want it to look a certain way, let it look a certain way. I've decided to do all my archer towers because I love the white archer towers. It matches the top of my town hall and my eagle cannon, and I think they're really cool, and I just love the archer towers. I've always been into the archer towers. They're one of the first things I do. I always do my power defense first, and then I do my archer towers. Now this is after you put your time in, and I only know this, guys, because once Loot Nation has gone through a couple different changes over the couple years that we've been together. We've been together for a little under 3 years now. When Clan Wars first came out, we were like 50-0 right out the gate. We had such a strong group of people. We had just crushed that whole first summer. When I had to leave Oregon and move back to New Jersey, I wasn't able to put the same time, effort, and energy into the game and break down the raids and help the people out. And we put a bunch of co-leaders in place, and the entire clan fell apart. We didn't win a single war for almost 2 months, and people were like going crazy. We had awesome players who were Loot Nation lovers there since Town Hall 6, and they were Town Hall 9s and 10s, and they all left, and it was just a very bad and poor experience for us. So I had to, and this is the part, real quick, interluding quickly. This is the moment, and this is the glitch where I couldn't figure out how to get that wall fixed. Look, I couldn't finish my layout. The wall is stuck. I couldn't place any buildings. I couldn't do anything, and I know that if I were to shut my iPad down, I would literally have to start all over. If anybody was in the room of Fly on the Wall when this happened, and I looked at Lady with the biggest eyeballs I've ever seen, just rage. If I wasn't turning green, then there was no other time in my life. Now, there has been multiple times where I've tried to redesign my base, and this happens, and I'd never redesign my base again because it's just too much. Look at me. I'm trying to figure out what to do. So the trick is, guys, go into photo mode. When you go into photo mode, somehow, some way, it resets everything that's taking place. This was an absolute accident, and it just worked out really well. See right there, I click photo mode, it takes everything away, and then you go back and voila, trick perfect. This is a perfect glitch. I've never found glitches before in games, and I found my very first video game glitch, and it is to fix when you are about to have to redo all of your walls, and it happens one other time while I'm making this video, so it really does work. So definitely, if you get into a problem with your base build and you feel like you're gonna lose your design, go into photo mode. You'll see over here I got a little worried about it, so I'm gonna just dump all of my stuff out and save my base because I couldn't imagine having to start all over. But getting back to Loot Nation, and I would say the first downfall. We moved some co-leaders around. We kind of got rid of some bad seeds that were in the mix. And we came up with this concept for everybody to focus on heroes. When I was traveling so much for about a year, I wasn't able to do my heroes, and I just continued to do my defenses. So I actually became a defensively maxed out Town Hall 10 with like 22, 24, 25 heroes. And I couldn't win a war. There was nothing I could do. At that time period, there was nothing you could do. It was so hard to be able to come in and take out a Town Hall 10. I mean, there was no 3-starring Town Hall 10s, let alone even be able to 2-star a Town Hall 10 unless you had maxed out heroes. Now, they then changed, I think that was after the very first change of the heroes when they nerfed them down a lot, but then they made the lower ones buffed up. I don't know how far back you guys go in your Clash of Clans knowledge, but it was about 2 some odd years ago. We then buckled down as a clan and just ripped through our heroes, ripped through our troops, put time in on our walls, and we put ourselves back into a position to contend in war. Now, since that moment, it took about 3 months, even closer to 6 months, to kind of reload everyone's mind to understanding this concept. And ever since then, we've been an over 50% win clan. Guaranteed. I want to say we're even more closer to like the 60s or 70% of our wins, and the bulk of our losses that we got really came from a very small time period. So we have a little bit lower on the wins, and our win ratio isn't exactly what I want to see, but you know what? Life isn't always what you want it to be, and you got to work with what you got, and that's what this game's kind of about. Now, people get really frustrated with this game because of the long wait times and because of the longevity of this game and how long it takes to get to where you want to be. But if you guys are young in Town Hall and you're frustrated, come on over to Loot Nation. Maybe you just haven't found a good group of guys to hang out with and talk with and grow with, and that's really what it comes down to. This game is so communal for me, and it's such a strong group of co-leaders, and they've made the friendly challenges, and they've given us so many different avenues to be able to still practice raiding. So definitely get out there and practice some new raids. And that's one of the things that I kind of wanted to get into today, was what the meta is for raids and what the meta is for bases. Now, I feel like I got a pretty good grasp on the bases from about Town Hall 9, Town Hall 10, and Town Hall 11. Anything Town Hall 8 and lower is very there's not much you can do. The Town Hall 8 base is just very basic. You don't have the queen, you don't get the expos. Once you get to Town Hall 9, that is when the game launches. It is it's like playing a different game. Every time that you upgrade your Town Hall from a Town Hall 8 to a Town Hall 9, the moment you get into Town Hall 9, from Town Hall 9 to 10 to 11, the game changes drastically once you go into a new Town Hall. Expos and Queen at Town Hall 9, Infernos at Town Hall 10, and Warden and Eagle Cannon at a Town Hall 11. So with all these changes being in place, it allows for just a different feeling, but don't rush your Town Hall. Now, the meta right now in ladder play is ring style bases, and that's what made the loons so effective, because everyone's bases were so spread out and the loons weren't getting attacked by any of the archer towers, and you weren't packing up. So what I find out when I'm going in the ladder play with the loons is that when the bases are tightly knit in the middle, the loons tend to die a lot faster because the lava hounds themselves die. So if you're looking to stop loon raids, you need to honeycomb more or less the middle of your base and then create distance for the offensive attacking strategy to get to the middle. So this design was the first one I played with, and last night I actually designed another one that has a little bit different of an inside to it, and I'm doing more of the honeycomb on the inside of the base. So I'm trying to figure out what works best for bowlers and what works best for loon raids, and then in war, all you have to do is go over to your mirror or your matchup and look at their army types, and if their army type isn't the strongest for a certain base that you have, like say for instance, they don't have max lava hounds at your Town Hall 10 or Town Hall 9 or Town Hall 11 level, then go ahead and put in your anti hog base or your anti bowler base or your anti giant base. You want to always use the base that's going to work best against their strongest army. Now, if they have really great loons, but guess what? Their bowlers are really low, well, they're probably going to use their loon attack or their dragon attack. So go ahead and use an air defensive base. We just actually got into a war that we lost, and one of the bases at the top had a discrepancy as to how it needed to be hit. It was a heavily defensive air base. It was baiting for people to come in and attack with air. Now, an air raid went in, and it was a failure. It was and ended up being a 1-star, and we're going to lose the war. So, it happens. There are a lot of mistakes, and there are a lot of learning with raid strategies, but you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're trying to attack a base that is designed for anti-air and you're trying to use an air raid. It just doesn't make sense. You use the ground and pound when it's when it's stopping the air, and you use an air raid when it's set up to stop the ground and pound. If you can come up with these two attack strategies for yourself, you will be an absolute war hero and a monster. And definitely get out there and use all 6 of your base designs. Get multiple multiple designs ready. There is no one design that's going to be magical. You have to change it based off of the war. And this is something that, like, I'm really kind of stubborn about myself. I've always used my jersey base. Constantly have put together my jersey base, and every once in a while I will spend my time and redesign the inside of the base, move everything around intricately. Now, for you guys who aren't really into base designs, maybe you just had a good time hearing the conversation and the topics about all the war types and different things like that. I would suggest going and Googling some base designs and switching your bases up. If you're not into base designs, then you probably don't have one of the best base designs. But definitely get out there and look on the internet for those base designs, or try to come up with something yourself that you can, like, tinker around with. And just to get into the meta for Town Hall 11 and ladder push. If you're looking to ladder push and you want the most consistent 2-star army, use the Mass Dragon Double Lightning Strike Zap spell, or Quake spell rather. That's using 2 level 6 or higher lightning spells on top of each air defense, and then 1 quake. So you need 4 lightning spells and 2 quakes. Take out 2 air defenses and then use your dragons to funnel into the middle of the town hall. That is the most consistent 2-star raid at Town Hall 11 that I'm seeing. The most consistent 3-star rating that I've seen, and it used to be the Queen Walk. I haven't been Queen Walked or seen a Queen Walk in such a long time, but the Queen Walk was strong, not the strongest anymore. So now the 3-star raid is going to be your Loon, or going to be your Bowler raid. And the miners, forget about it. Anybody who was pushing ladders back in the early fall and in the summer of this year, it was all miners. Like, you couldn't even touch the top unless you knew how to use miners. So right now it is the all mass bowler raid, 24-25 bowlers, 6 healers. Some people are using 19 or 20 bowlers and bringing a couple miners to really let them go and put them into the middle and go ahead and take out the town hall inside the ring while the bowlers scoop around the outside. That is the strategy that works well. And the Loon raid. And now the Loon raid is very untapped. There is the Pentala Loon with 5 hounds. There is a 2-hound strategy with 26 balloons that Power Bang was using that now I'm seeing all over the place. And a couple different air raids. Some that you go in and get 1 or 2 air defenses in the Queen, and other ones you're not paying any attention to going in for anything. You're just using your freeze spells properly. So, Loons when the base calls for it, and only when the base calls for it. Unless you're freakishly good with the Loons, definitely don't go out there and just 1-star in your war raids. And guys, make sure that you are smashing that like button if you're this far through the video. It is so important for Lady and I to get that like button hit. It really promotes our videos internally inside of YouTube, and it would really appreciate it for that like. If you're 27 minutes in, man, then you're a little beardo, and I'll probably be saying hi to you in person on the next stream. So love you guys for hanging out this deep into the video. And let me think of my biggest tip. Like, I always get asked, what's the biggest tip for Clash of Clans? And I put a lot of thought into this. And I think to myself, I've always thought gems in the beginning of the game are better than in the end of the game. You're wasting them towards the end of the game. Their value's low. So if you want to jumpstart yourself through, Clash of Clans, gemming in the beginning up to Town Hall 8s and getting a little further through the game, I would say would probably be close to the top. Even communication in your clan, being active and donating a lot, I would say that would probably be like right there at the top. Even being the best war fighter and focusing on YouTube videos and learning all about the war raids, I would say is just a little, like just a tiny hair under the number 1. And the number 1 most important thing that I think in Clash of Clans is to absolutely have more fun than everybody else playing. And I know it seems super cliche. If you're not enjoying the game, you're never going to build a base. If you're not enjoying the game, you're not going to care about the people in your clan, and you're going to be butting heads at them all the time. I enjoy playing Clash of Clans. I love playing Clash of Clans. It is my favorite game to play right now. It is so much fun. It is so dynamic. It reminds me of all sorts of games just kind of rolled up into one. Now this base build here looks a little funky. I'm gonna go ahead and test it out, and what I ended up finding out was that one of my walls was kind of in a bad spot, that like weird wall that just shooting out over the town hall, and I ended up actually changing a little bit of the internal wall structure outside of the video after I got my first attack and my first raid, because right under those two double big bombs is an open spot and I didn't realize it. So my very first raid, somebody just put all their troops right directly next to my eagle cannon and got an early easy 2-star on my base, and I was just like, man, I should probably hit that scout mode and check it out next time. But I did end up doing 4 straight 1-star I call them defenses, though they're not defense. Defense are very hard to come by in Legends League, especially because I don't have all the maxed out defenses. If I had all the maxed out defense, I would really love to see how well my base design actually holds up, being that I've never left this structure. I've never left the jersey design. I do bring another variant of my base to war, so I do have a bit of a variant that I use depending on like what the other person has. Like I said, how to go and actually look at what base to use for yourself in war. So I have another ring style base that I'll use, and then obviously the jersey base I'm still trying to learn. If you guys know some tactics and tricks when it comes to base building and designing, throw some comments in the bottom. I'd like to hear what people's opinions are about my jersey base design, and if you really want to, you can come on over to Loot Nation and actually give my base a go. Give it a friendly challenge, see if you can best it. It was really fun when I was out in San Francisco. I had Camming Bro, I'm not sure what his name is now, Camming Sucks or Cam Bro, Cam clashing with Cam. He attacked my base, 1-starred it, it was cool. Power Bang came in, he did like an 80% queen walk on my base, and it was really nice. I mean, I think he kind of really just ran out in time, and he was a Town Hall 10. That dude knows how to fight for sure. So it was kind of cool to see his approach to my base. Ash attacked my base. So I had a couple people who came in and actually attacked my base, and a little upset. I never recorded them. I jumped out of the clan at the end because I was hanging out with another dude at the Supercell thing, which is super cool, man. It was really fun at that event. And we are getting close to the end of this build here. I never really know what to do with my spring traps. I always try to anticipate like where I think people will come. But for the most part, if you don't know what to do with your traps in the beginning after you first build the base, just put them all around your town hall. Definitely put them all around centralized buildings. I try to put all my air mines and air mines and the other one, what are the other ones? The air bombs, air mines. I try to put them both right by my air defense, because you figure if something's coming in for the air defense, that needs to be bombed. So that is going to be my walls structure, and I actually move a couple walls around. It looks really skinny and weird kind of in the inside, so I go ahead and I always set my base up with a concept and design that I'm thinking about, and then I'll let it play out for a couple days and then tinker around with it, move walls, and then I'll aesthetically make it a little bit more pleasing and to make it kind of the way I want to. So I'm going to move this wall to the outside here, and then I'll move that left-hand side orange wall where those two little arrows are. I'll actually move that out and pull some defenses on the inside, and I'm just really pumped to mess around with the New Jersey base. Hopefully you guys like that throwback in the beginning to when I kind of first came up at the Jersey base back in Town Hall 8. And guys, have some fun. Abide by rule number 1 in Lord Beardo's Clashing channel, and that is to have more fun than anybody else out there playing the game. Definitely come by and check us out on our live streams. We're always going off on on Sunday. We're doing gaming.youtube.com/Lord Beardo. Like always, go check me out on my Twitter at Lord_Beardo, and hope you guys enjoyed this base build, something a little different. Peace out.